So our theme is planetary health. Fundamentally, it's about studying the state of Earth's natural systems and our impact on them.
And this actually sort of addresses some of the really big global challenges that we're all facing. The needs of the world, the growing demands of the human population are putting an enormous strain on these natural ecosystems. And this manifests in a number of different ways. I think we're all familiar with the challenges and experiencing the problem of climate change, but we're looking at a lot of other intersecting problems around how we produce food, affordable, healthy food in a sustainable way, what the impact is on things like emerging disease risks, what the impact on our oceans, on the biodiversity that we have in all of the Earth's ecosystems. We're facing at the moment a crisis of biodiversity loss and extinction. And all of these are interrelated. They all intersect to some degree. And that's where the challenge comes, trying to address these big problems that encompass and involve so many communities, systems, and require so many different types of expertise and knowledge to tackle them.
So social scientists, you'll not be surprised to hear me say that these are processes that needs to be collaborative and participatory, not just with other experts, but also with so-called knowledge users of our science, but also diverse stakeholders, right? I mean, we talk about solutions, we have to understand what are the problems that are being caused by our thirst for growth without limits.
What we hope to do in this theme is not just to try and analyse what's going on and understand the system, but actually move towards thinking about what solutions there might be. The sorts of issues that we're addressing, they all appear in the top 10 risks facing the planet in any kind of international report or commission that you see.
So I think particularly in the area of planetary health, it's useful to make it to recognise that pure and applied research are not distinct choices. I think some of the most powerful research comes from recognising that you can work in the intersection of what we might call discovery science and intervention science. In that intervention, you are working on really important scientific questions, fundamental scientific questions, but you're doing so in systems that are of real societal relevance, importance, and immediacy.
A really important feature of our work in this area of planetary health is our partnerships. I think it's clear that this cannot be done in isolation. That's not individuals, it's not the University of Glasgow alone. And we are building on a really strong set of partnerships that we have with international academic organisations. We also work very closely with policymakers. Internationally, we have long-term and very strong partnerships with many institutions in the global south, sub-Saharan Africa, Southeast Asia, Latin America. And these are a really important component of both our ability to carry out the research in the way that we think will be most effective and most equitable. But the Global South brings enormous expertise, and it's growing expertise. It's a very exciting time to be linked with the emerging scientific and research institutions in Africa. I think a really important part of Glasgow's culture is about nurturing and supporting early career researchers, and that's not just for researchers from the UK but internationally as well, and we have a very strong track record in doing this, and it's a really rewarding part of our job. It's just been incredible to see now the number of early career researchers who are generating and developing their own independent research. They're becoming the leaders. It's a privilege for us to be working with them in tackling the problems that are being identified. It's quite interesting with some of the research that's going on already is that the entry point might be a particular disease. But in my own work, as an example, tackling an infectious disease problem has led me to engage across really broad areas around land use, around food security, around inequalities, around social justice, conservation, biodiversity. Really, that sort of encapsulates how we can move from this single problem focus to thinking much more about sort of systems and resilient systems.
And the nice thing about being able to do this in MBLS in Glasgow in 10 years will be, people really enjoying the benefits of the kind of science and research and practice that we do here.
I think there's some really exciting opportunities here for research. I think we're really sort of challenging some of the conventions around how science is done and new ways of integrating different types of discipline, different types of approaches, and bringing together our real strengths in Glasgow across a very broad range of disciplines, but from discovery science through to intervention science. Across the university, there's an extraordinary breadth of expertise of different disciplines. But I think what really makes Glasgow stand out is the fact that there's something about the environment and the atmosphere and the values of Glasgow that really make this interdisciplinary work feasible and possible and enjoyable.
What the College Futures programme has to offer is the opportunity to create new disciplinary spaces, specifically developed to optimally address the research that we need to do in the area of planetary health. I think the College Futures Fellowships, these could be a breakthrough development for us. We get to create new disciplinary spaces and populate it with some of the brightest young minds we can find.